All right, so it's November 6th, 2019, and we are back here to the Soursops. So it's been about approximately 8 months since we've been back to these guys, and they are about a foot and a half tall now. So they're still in the pots that I had transplanted them into a couple months ago, and I haven't quite found a spot over at the farm yet for them to grow at, so that's why they're still in these pots. I did take one out there just to see the difference in the growth between growing them in a container and putting them straight into the ground. And of course, as I always say with plants, I am sure that the one in the ground will do a whole lot better than the one in the pots, just because that's the way things are supposed to be. With it being in the ground, the worms, can go ahead and feed it with their waste, and it also gets all the compost out there and all the stuff that it needs, pretty much all that natural fertilizer. With putting them in pots, so this was Miracle-Gro potting mix I had planted them into, and that was a while back. And as you can see here, it's obviously been a while, because we've got a lot of just random weeds growing down at the bottom of the pots. I'm not going to clean that up. It's kind of pointless because they're going to grow right back. I will, however, clean it up when I do transplant them out at the farm. I just need to find the best spot for them out there, and I haven't quite cleared a good enough spot. Well, I believe I haven't quite cleared enough of a good spot for them to go ahead and take off. So, like I said, they're about a foot and a half tall now. They look pretty healthy so far. I'm sure they would be a lot taller and look a lot healthier had they been planted into the ground. I did plan on putting this update up within the next maybe 2, 3, or 4 months. I was waiting to put that update up when these Soursops would be a year old. But we've already got a few viewers that are curious to see what the Soursops look like right now. And as you can see, they look pretty healthy for the most part. None of them are struggling, although the leaves don't look a very rich green. They still look okay. It's better than yellowing or anything, any pests getting at it, or some type of fungal disease all over it. So, like I said, these Soursop plants look pretty healthy. I'm sure if I did fertilize these plants a lot more in these pots, they do a lot better. But I'm not one to add too much fertilizer to my plants while they're potted. I just prefer to give them the little boost that they need to kind of take off in the beginning, and then I'd put them in the ground and let the earth do what it does with these plants. So as you can see here, we have one right here in this corner, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm not quite sure how much we started with, but we've got 11 here, and we've got a 12th one at the farm. Actually, I had 2 at the farm, but my father-in-law accidentally ran it over with the excavator, the first one I planted out there. So we did have 13, but now we have 12. So there is still, I put another one out there at the farm just to make sure I can watch the difference in the growth between these guys here at home and the one out there at the farm. And if the significance between the two becomes pretty great, then I'll go ahead and transplant these guys a lot quicker than I plan to. However, the one at the farm does look great, but it's not so great that it would seem I need to transplant these guys already. I know a lot of growers out there, they prefer to grow them in pots and they fertilize the heck out of them, but like I said, I'm not one of those to do that type of fertilization. I'd prefer to put it into the ground and let the earth do its thing and let the plant do its own thing as well. Yeah, that's it for the update. Like I said, I would have preferred to put it up a year into its lifetime, but because naturally most of us would wonder what it looks like, whether they died or not. We want to see what's going on, and this is what's going on. So we'll get a close-up here of the plant, and you can see the trunk is kind of hardening up. It's starting to get that brown color that every plant gets as it starts to mature. So There isn't too much significant growth on it other than what's obvious, but maybe maybe they do need that fertilization boost. So I'll go ahead and crunch down the time to get them out there and get them planted. Here at the side of the house, this is where they've stayed since transplantation. They stay right under here, right under the roof, so they don't get too much rain. But they don't need too much rain because these pots stay pretty moist for the most part, and every now and then I'll go ahead and add some more water to it. And I also have them here at the side of the house, so the sun, comes across this way, and by the time it gets here, there isn't too much direct sunlight on the plant. So I noticed that the plant is perfectly fine with that. And yeah, that's it. That's it for the sourshops. They're looking good, and I'll see you when we get them out there at the farm. When we get them out there to the farm to get them planted into the ground. But as for now, that's all, folks.